What if Gandalf trained Anakin Skywalker? Let's explore the depths of the scenario in the video. As Qui-Gon-Jinn prepares to depart for Naboo, he sits down under the great tree in the Jedi Temple to meditate. He takes a deep breath and feels a familiar presence as the image of Gandalf materializes. The old wizard smiles, but notices the worry on the Jedi Master's face.
What is the matter, my friend? You look almost as old as me.
Events are moving in the galaxy quickly, and I fear the Jedi can no longer keep up.
He explains everything that's been happening. The invasion of Naboo, the return of the Sith, and Anakin.
This boy has more power than I've ever seen. I believe he's the chosen one, and yet, with everything happening, I fear that I will not be able to protect him alone.
You aren't alone, my friend. If you fear the happenings of this galaxy, then perhaps it is time to get away from that. Allow me to shelter the boy. I should train him and keep him safe alongside you.
Qui-Gon and Gandalf agree. This means Anakin cannot be trained like any other Jedi, and that the two of them together can help forge him into the Chosen One. As Qui-Gon and the others depart, he makes a stop in Arda, a remote planet in wild space. At first, Anakin and the others are shocked to see this place, and that Qui-Gon means to leave him there. But the Jedi places a hand on his shoulder.
I know this seems cruel, but I sense a great darkness approaching. So I send you here to protect you. But mark my words, I shall return.
As Anakin leaves the ship, a kindly-looking man approaches them and smiles, introducing himself as Gandalf. He allows Anakin to live with him in his home while Qui-Gon completes his mission. One of the first things he learns is that despite Gandalf's appearance as a normal human, he is a Maiar, a primordial spirit deeply connected to the Force. This allows him to harness abilities that even the greatest Jedi cannot perform. Qui-Gon is one of the few Jedi Gandalf's revealed himself to, due to him following the living Force. While waiting for Qui-Gon, the two begin their training, which radically differs from the Jedi. Rather than keep Anakin in the temple, the two spend their time traveling across Middle-earth to meet the different races and see the natural wonders of the planet. Aside from admitting the beauty, Gandalf teaches Anakin to meditate on it and learn how to find the connections in all things. Because of that, Gandalf can draw upon the world's power. This is how he can use the Force. To prove his point, Gandalf raises his staff and slams it into the ground, unleashing a pillar of fire. One of his most poignant lessons is when Gandalf takes Anakin to visit the elves and presents him to Legolas. Beside him, the guards escort a captured orc who thrashes and struggles under his chains. The wizard makes Anakin look at the two and explain how the orcs were once elves who had become corrupted and their bodies twisted into their monstrous form. Anakin steps back from the orc as it lets out a thunderous bellow. Even the most heroic and pure things can be warped, if not tempered and controlled.
That is the nature of the Force. Everything is connected. When something is corrupted, it can harm those around it. When that happens, it can throw everything out of balance.
Unfortunately, the lessons are cut short when Gandalf receives word that Qui-Gon's ship is arriving. However, the voice who contacts him belongs to Obi-Wan. When they find the ship, Obi-Wan steps out with a haunted look at his master's lightsaber. There, Obi-Wan reveals the news that Qui-Gon has fallen. For Anakin, Obi-Wan is intolerable, and he runs off into the forest. In a matter of weeks, so much has changed. He's had to say goodbye to his mother and move to this strange world, and now his friend Qui-Gon is gone. He's so lost in his tears that he doesn't notice Gandalf approaching until he sits beside him.
Anakin, I know the sorrow you feel. It is a natural part of life. But you must stay strong and learn from this moment.
Qui-Gon was my friend. How can I just let go of that? How can I move on?
It is not easy. I lived many lifetimes, Anakin, and it does not get easier. The gift of immortality is also its greatest curse. While I may see the world change, I must always say goodbye to my friends who cannot share this gift. I have seen friends, comrades, and loved ones come and go, but it is a part of our journey for when they depart. Know that they become one with the Force.
And the Force is in all things.
Exactly, my boy. He may no longer walk among us, but he remains inside of you. You carry his memories, lessons, and hopes, and also his burdens. He had hoped you would bring balance to the Force, to carry on, to honor their memory by living fully and wisely. That is the way we cope with loss.
Then what are we waiting for?
Gandalf smiles, and soon the two begin training. They spend whole days meditating and learning about the world around them, learning to draw its powers and become closer to it. This training is more in line with the living Force that Qui-Gon followed. Surprisingly, he knows how much training Anakin meant to Qui-Gon and wants to honor his master's legacy by fulfilling that task. While Anakin learns about the living Force, he teaches him practical skills like negotiation and lightsaber combat. The training quickly bears fruit as Anakin begins performing incredible feats of the Force. While he learns many basic techniques, such as levitating objects, Anakin also learns how to harness the elements using the Force, a rare ability among the Jedi. During one such meditation sessions, Anakin feels a shadow wash over him. His body tenses as he feels the darkness coursing around him and sending him evil visions. He sees a cloaked figure bursting into the Shire. He pushes Bilbo Baggins' door open and rushes at him. The old hobbit screams as he tries to run away, but the figure ignites a red lightsaber. Before the hobbit can run away, the figure strikes, taking his finger off. As Dooku pries the ring off, the heat from his lightsaber causes words to appear on the ring's surface. Anakin jolts away and tells Gandalf everything. The old wizard's eyes widen as he instructs him to write down the words he saw on the ring. As Anakin recreates them, Gandalf trembles.
You must leave at once. Hurry!
The two Jedi quickly gather their things and hurry after the wizard. Unfortunately, by the time they arrive at Bilbo Baggins' home, the door is shattered, and the sound of fighting can be heard inside. They rush inside to see the hobbit on the floor, screaming in pain as he clutches the stump of his finger. The ring lies on the floor and leaves dark whispers that call to Anakin. The two Jedi draw their lightsabers while Gandalf readies his staff. Count Dooku steps forward, a sinister smile on his lips as he bends over to pick up the ring. Obi-Wan lunges first, his lightsaber flashing, but Dooku parries it effortlessly, twisting his blade and sending Obi-Wan stumbling to the side. Anakin tries to help by unleashing a pillar of fire at Dooku, but the Dark Lord lifts a table and blocks the attack. He then throws it forward where it explodes in a crackle of splinters as Gandalf blows it apart. The wizard unleashes a bolt of lightning from his staff, putting Dooku on the defensive. Anakin takes this opportunity to rush at him. Anakin's first attacks are quick and aggressive, aiming to try and take advantage of the Count's distraction. As Obi-Wan gets to his feet, he joins the attack. Despite outnumbering him, Dooku's movements remain precise and fluid, keeping both their attacks at bay. Gandalf approaches him with his staff ready. This seems to intimidate the Count, who shrinks back. Seeing this, Anakin takes the opportunity to rush forward. This is a mistake, as Dooku's retreat is a feint, and as Anakin rushes forward, his red lightsaber comes slicing through the air and severs Anakin's arm. The two stop their attack to pull Anakin back. Dooku takes this opportunity to put the ring on and vanishes, leaving the trio dumbfounded. Obi-Wan reports this to Yoda, but soon the Jedi have bigger problems, because from the sands of Geonosis, a massive army of battle droids appears and advances across the galaxy. Billions upon billions of these droids attack the Republic, organized by Count Dooku and his newly formed CIS. They announce that their goal is to secede from the Republic. In this transmission, the Jedi notices the ring around Dooku's neck and realizes he is the thief. They call upon Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Gandalf to join the war effort. The three of them do not go alone. As news of this invasion spreads, members of the other races volunteer to help. Aragorn, Boromir, Gimli, and Legolas all volunteer to help. Despite these noble heroes' contributions, the war is not going well. The CIS takes the Republic completely off guard and advances across all fronts. Even with the clone armies backing them, the endless hordes of droids advance across countless planets. The small team focuses on tracking down Dooku and defeating him to recover the ring, while the Republic tries to counter the CIS advance. In particular, Anakin burns for revenge as he looks at the robotic hand that replaces his real hand. When not going on missions to help others, the team spends their time meditating, trying to pinpoint the location of the ring. Anakin sits cross-legged in a quiet chamber, trying to ignore the hum of his new robotic hand. He tries to focus on meditation. But while he fights for calm, a dark cloud looms over his head, and a mysterious voice calls into his mind.
Anakin Skywalker, I have information that may be of great interest to you.
Who is this?
My name is not important. Just know that I share your hatred for Count Dooku. He has betrayed me, and I wish to pay him back by helping you recover the One Ring.
I can sense the darkness in you.
You are perceptive, young Skywalker. Yes, I walk a darker path, but the path that crosses with your goal. Dooku has taken something precious from both of us. He took your hand, did he not? Surely, righting this wrong is necessary.
Dooku will pay for what he did.
Then let me help you. Together we can find him, defeat him, and recover the ring.
Anakin hesitates, his instincts warning him of the danger. Palpatine senses this and begins to smile.
You may call me Sidious. I sense your hesitation, but you do not see the full picture. If you allow him to possess that ring, you only allow his corruption to thrive and pollute the rest of the galaxy.
Anakin's mind races, torn between his instincts and his desire for vengeance. But Palpatine's words leave their mark on Anakin. As he returns to his meditation, new images flash across his mind. The images of suffering and hardship as a result of this war. His eyes shoot open, and Anakin looks around. He calls the others and tells them everything he's heard. They are torn about what to do. Boromir, Legolas, and Gimli support working with Palpatine, even temporarily. Meanwhile, the others oppose it. Anakin, though, takes the offer seriously. The longer we wait, the more people die. If this Sidious can help us recover the ring, then I say let's give him a chance.
Think, Anakin. He would not be asking you this if he did not plan on taking the ring for himself. He admits to being Dooku's master.
I must agree. There are too many risks in your plan. And would you rather we wait until Dooku burns the galaxy to the ground before taking action? Or until he finds Arda? Those words shake the others' resolve, and they look away. Even Gandalf cannot give a counter to that. Well, I won't. I will make this call. Anakin returns to his chamber to begin meditating. But before he goes, Gandalf looks at him.
I have taught you for many years. I hope when I tell you about attachment, you understand it applies to your anger just as much.
I have taken all your lessons to heart, Master, but that is why I must do this. As he sits down, Anakin immediately feels Palpatine's presence on him, but he doesn't give him the satisfaction of showing his surprise. Instead, he simply says they will work together. Palpatine nods and provides Anakin with coordinates, saying he shall meet him there. The coordinates take Anakin and his companions to Sereno. There they land in a dense forest to avoid being seen. As they finish gathering their supplies, a figure approaches their ship, moving as silent as night, but whose dark presence gives him away. The fellows all turn and prepare their weapons.
Welcome. I trust you found the coordinates without issue. We received your message, but what is your plan? Simple. We act swiftly and decisively. Dooku has become too powerful with the One Ring. I can get you inside. Then we can stop him.
And what happens after that? I doubt you are doing this out of the goodness of your own heart.
You wound me. As I said, I have reason to want Dooku dead. That is my price.
Boromir and Gimli approach him from behind with their weapons ready, but Anakin waves them back. Well, we won't accomplish anything waiting here. Palpatine turns around and leads them towards Dooku's palace. He marches ahead, and to their surprise, the droid guards do nothing. He leads them inside and marches through the less crowded hallway. As they enter Dooku's private quarters, they are shocked to see the effects of the One Ring on him. Dooku's eyes are darkened. His face and body are sunken, giving a gaunt appearance, and a malevolent aura surrounds him. Despite this, he stands tall and confident. He turns to face them and smiles.
I see we meet again, my old friends.
Obi-Wan and Anakin ignite their lightsabers, and Gandalf raises his staff, the room filling with the hum of energy. The Sith Lord moves with incredible speed, deflecting their attacks effortlessly. The group fans out, preparing to engage Dooku. Aragorn draws Anduril, the blade gleaming with ancient power, while Legolas looses a trio of arrows. Dooku shoves Anakin back just in time to incinerate the arrows in midair with a bolt of lightning. From the smoke, Boromir raises his sword and shield, while Gimli grips his axe tightly. The two clash with the Count, joining Obi-Wan as they surround him. Dooku blocks each of their attacks one by one, springing into action. He focuses on Gimli first, locking his lightsaber with his axe, and then reaching for the haft and pulling it aside, taking the dwarf with him. He whirls just to find Aragorn and Obi-Wan coming at him at once. The two coordinate their attacks, thrusting and slashing simultaneously to keep the Count's attention divided. But Dooku focuses on his speed to give him an advantage over Aragorn, attacking at lightning speed and sending the Ranger skidding across the floor. Obi-Wan rushes after him, taking his attention from Aragorn before he can finish him off. The Jedi Master's movements remain fluid and graceful, never missing a beat as he blocks each attack and scores a blow across Dooku's shoulder. But he suddenly struck from the side as Dooku rips up his desk from the ground and throws it at him. Boromir charges in next. His shield held high, but then stops halfway and ducks as Anakin appears from behind, summoning the earth itself to attack in a powerful wave. Boromir rides this wave and somersaults over Dooku, slamming his shield against him. This attack unbalances the Count, but he still manages to dissipate the wave and send the debris flying at the human, who has to crouch behind his shield. The Sith Lord counters Boromir with swift strikes, forcing him onto the defensive. As Dooku delivers a powerful overhead strike, Boromir raises his shield, the impact reverberating through his arm. Before Dooku can press the attack, Legolas fires a volley of arrows, each one aimed with deadly accuracy. Dooku deflects the arrows with his lightsaber, but is struck by a wave of water summoned by Anakin. As Gimli gets up, he and Legolas rush the Count, but Dooku places his hand on the water and summons a surge of electricity that shocks both fighters and sends them spasming on the ground. This leaves only Anakin and Gandalf. The wizard raises his broken staff, summoning a surge of white light. He channels the energy into a blast that strikes Dooku squarely, staggering the Sith Lord. Anakin takes the chance to rush at him, ramming the Count to the ground and trying to stab him. Dooku rolls from side to side, avoiding the attacks. Anakin thrusts his hand out, but begins to unleash a pillar of fire. The Count's entire body is consumed by the flames, but there are no screams. After a moment, the fire dissipates and Dooku emerges unburnt, but his eyes glowing brightly. He thrusts his hand out and sends Anakin flying backward. Gandalf tries to stop Dooku by unleashing a burst of lightning toward him, but Dooku absorbs the lightning bolts. Palpatine, watching from the shadows, finally steps forward. His strikes are swift and aggressive, taking Dooku's flank. With 2 Grand Masters against the Count, his defenses start to falter. Gandalf advances on him, slinging spell after spell, while Palpatine presses him up close with his lightsaber. Dooku struggles to defend against both attacks, but it's made only worse as Anakin gets up. He feels his frustration growing as he feels his robotic hand sparking. The memories of his loss burn through him, as do the thoughts of the Count's actions. Anakin's anger boils over as he snarls and rushes at Dooku, summoning the earth and sending a pair of slabs at the Dark Lord, who must sidestep both, then face Anakin's furious lightsaber assault. Palpatine watches with a dark smile, sensing the depth of Anakin's anger. He joins the assault, his attacks designed to push Anakin further into the dark side. As Dooku tries to defend against the attack, Gandalf watches and waits for an opening. Slowly, the Count stumbles back, and the wizard strikes. Instead of attacking directly, he sends the wind to knock Dooku off balance. This gives Anakin the opportunity he needs, slicing the lightsaber into Dooku's side as the ring slips from his finger and drops to the ground. Anakin, still breathing heavily from the intensity of the battle, stares at the ring, its golden surface gleaming ominously in the dim light. Without thinking, he bends down to pick it up, his hand hovering just above the cursed artifact. A whisper fills his mind, seductive and insistent. The promise of power, the opportunity to reshape the galaxy. His fingers are now on the verge of touching it.
Anakin, stop! Remember what I've taught you about the dangers of attachment and power. The ring will corrupt you and twist your desires into something dark and terrible. You must resist.
It promises to help me fulfill my destiny. And then he hears a cough. To his surprise, Dooku is still alive, breathing heavily as he clutches his side. The ring continues to whisper its dark thoughts, hissing louder. It tells me to take my revenge. He suddenly ignites his lightsaber and aims it at Dooku. The Count can only watch helplessly while Palpatine laughs at the sight.
Yes, give in to your anger. You have done well, Anakin. Take your revenge.
No, Anakin. The ring is not yours. I taught you to let go of attachment. But that is not just those you love. You must also learn to let go of those you hate. Everything we did now is in the name of justice. But what you intend to do is simply revenge. Do not let it control you.
But Anakin doesn't move. His eyes flicker with doubt, and a trace of the anger that had driven him so far begins to wane. Seeing Anakin's hesitation, Palpatine's smile fades. He reaches for the ring, trying to take it from him, but Aragorn steps forward, his sword raised.
Step away from it, Palpatine.
Palpatine's eyes narrow, and with a swift motion, he draws his red lightsaber, lunging at Aragorn with lethal intent. Aragorn blocks the initial strikes with Anduril, but Palpatine's speed and ferocity are beyond anything Aragorn has faced before. Their swords clash, sparks flying as they exchange powerful blows. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Gandalf, Boromir, Legolas, and Gimli watch in horror and try to help him. Aragorn fights valiantly, but Palpatine's strength belies his appearance, and the dark side gives him an edge. With a swift, brutal strike, Palpatine drives his lightsaber through Aragorn's chest. Aragorn gasps as he falls to the ground. The room falls silent as the reality of the moment sinks in. Boromir lets out a roar of grief and rage, charging at Palpatine, but the Sith Lord swats him aside with a powerful force push. As he falls, Legolas fires an arrow, but Palpatine deflects it with a casual flick of his lightsaber. Gimli follows and hurls his axe, but Palpatine catches it in midair and throws it right back. Before it can strike the dwarf, Anakin catches the axe in midair and faces Palpatine. His arms crackle with electricity as he channels the Force judgment at him. Gandalf joins him and unleashes a brilliant white light from his staff. Palpatine's eyes widen and he leaps aside, diving out of the way just as Obi-Wan and the others close in, surrounding Palpatine. The Sith Lord's eyes flicker with fury as he realizes he is outmatched. The Chancellor is forced to avoid their attacks, dodging and trying to slide out of the way. Between their attacks, Palpatine glances at the ring and makes a desperate attempt to seize it, but Anakin blocks his path, his lightsaber ignited. The final battle is fierce. Palpatine fights with all the dark powers at his command, but the combined strength of Anakin, Gandalf, Obi-Wan, and the remaining warriors of Middle-earth prove to be too much. They strike as one, each attack driving Palpatine back, weakening him bit by bit. Finally, Gandalf raises his staff, unleashing a blast of pure light that strikes Palpatine squarely, sending him crashing into the far wall. Anakin moves in and unleashes another burst of Force judgment, a blast so powerful it momentarily blinds everyone in the room. The only thing they hear is Palpatine's screams as his body erupts into fire, and once the lightning dissipates, there is nothing left but a pile of ash. Days later, the Fellowship stands atop the fires of Mount Doom, the ring held tightly in Anakin's hands as he considers the last few days. Without Dooku or Palpatine orchestrating the war, the cooler heads are now able to negotiate a peace deal. Yoda had offered Anakin a chance to join the Jedi Order properly, but the people of Gondor had also offered Anakin the crown of their kingdom. Now this is the last piece of business to take care of. Holding his hand over the fire, Anakin tips the ring over and watches as it drops into the lava river. He watches every second of it as it begins to sizzle and burn. The metal loses its shape and breaks apart until there is nothing left. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.